Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in the Benson. I know, you can't remember the last time I made a Benson video and funny enough, neither can I. But this is one of the matches that I recorded while playing with Beautiful Muse and Dark Architect. And as always, when I collab with some folks, I put their links down in the description as well as the comment down below if you guys want to check out their channels, show them some of that Spartan Army love. Thank you guys so much for everything. Before we get started though, I do want to apologize for those of you who were expecting a stream on Wednesday. I do apologize. It was a really crazy day for me. I didn't get a chance to get any sleep, so I just couldn't stream. Otherwise, it would have been miserable for all of us, and nobody wants that. Anyway, those of you who are just joining us, if you guys could, just punch that like button for me, and subscribe if you haven't already. It helps the channel out a ton, and you guys get access to nice, fresh videos every single day. So thank you guys so much. Alright, so we're in the Benson, and we're in a division for once. We don't normally div up, but again, I joined Muse, as you guys know, on her stream last Saturday, and this is one of the matches we got. I thought this would be a fun one to showcase, because it's something we don't get to showcase very often. Now, you guys know that I play a very specific way in Destroyers, and that is to play to win. Alright, I ain't playing to survive. I ain't playing to like go out for damage, okay? When I take a destroyer out, I am going to win. That's my goal. And so, as a Benson, I am a gunboat, and I'm in a tier 6, and this was also count-ins when we dived with Muse. So every match that we played for the 3 hours that we were divved up with her and Dark Architect was all count-in matches. So we had some interesting games, to say the least, and this is no exception. There's actually a division on the enemy team that has 2 destroyers and, I believe, a cruiser in a division. And we are going to do everything in our power to try to help put ourselves in a position to help with them. Now, early on, you'll see our destroyer run straight into the 2 of them. And that'll obviously end in his demise. He's in a Mayhem, they've got Benson and Ognavoy, so they're gonna absolutely yeet him. Now, I'm behind the island, I'm gonna take advantage of trying to get some shots on him, but initially I'm gonna struggle because I just am not used to the ship, okay? It's been a little while. We had AP loaded initially because I'm a dumb. Probably was shooting in the broadside of somebody, either a cruiser or a battleship previously, the last time I used the Benson. And I just had the wrong ammo type loaded. But we do get a hit or 2 in there and end up with 1100 damage on him, which is not insignificant, but it's definitely not as much as we could have had. But we're going to go ahead and push around the corner. We know there's a battleship here. We've got a little bit of room. I wish I hadn't used my smoke there because I was in no danger, really. So I could have potentially not used my smoke, and I'd have had a smoke a little bit later for a little bit more fun. But here, I've got a Prince Heinrich that's coming around the island, and I'm thinking, okay, well, he's clearly not expecting this, so we'll just drop these torpedoes, and if he comes around the island, he's a dead man. And then the next thing I want to do is try to move around behind him so that he can't retreat, right? Obviously, those destroyers are getting challenged by, I think it's Muse in the cruiser. I think Dark Architect is actually in a HMS Hood in this one. And Muse, I forget, but I think she's in an Italian cruiser. I can't remember. But either way, we're going to push around the backside of the island. We got Heinrich deciding to turn away, which is really unfortunate. It's just bad timing. Goes broadside to our entire team over here. We have the cap control at the moment. They are dedicating 2 of their destroyers to this flank. And so they're not actually doing a lot to help their team right now. They can't push in because we've got people playing aggressively and helping to shoot at them. So they can't really push in. So instead, what I'm expecting is that division, or at least one of them, to peel off to come deal with me. They know I'm over this direction. I'm locating the Heinrich at the moment. But I want you guys to pay attention, as the Heinrich has taken a lot of damage so far for the turn plus fire damage. we are in a good position to stop him from retreating. And this is something that I think a lot of destroyer players fail to do. If you've got cap control and you put yourself in a good position, now notice that my direction finder, my little RPF or perceptive, whatever you want to call it, is not pointing at the Heinrich anymore, right? Now, it could be that the Heinrich is just in the edge of a square, so it hasn't updated yet, or it could mean that there's a destroyer on the way. Neither of which is good for me. If I get caught with a Heinrich right here, you almost certain that that Heinrich is a German secondary build, right? Generally speaking, most of the battle cruisers are, but most German battleships in general are, because people use the Hyde commander. But I want to put some distance between me and the Heinrich and try to avoid getting yeeted. Now, we set one set of torps out front, the other set behind, so if he does slow down, he's going to get hit with the ones that we sent later. If he's trying to like stay in a straight line, we should hit him with the front torps. But here, I do kind of make a little bit of a mistake because he starts to turn towards me and I'm actually closing the distance on him. Now, one of the things that a lot of people don't like about the way I play destroyers is that I tend to run a double concealment on all my destroyers. The reason I do that is for exactly this reason. It gives me such an advantage in a gunfight versus other destroyers. Like I dictate the engagement. And look at this man. Like he had no chance. He had already launched his torpedoes. By the time he actually starts to shoot at me, I've already taken half his hit points. And then we're just going to beat him down from here. And he's got the Heinrich also shooting at us. And yet we've still taken, you know, about half of our health off of our ship in this fight. There's nothing he can do here. But we're getting very unlucky with some of these hits, but we do finally finish him off. We lost about half of our hit points and managed to stay alive despite the fact that the Prince Heinrich was also helping shoot us. Their cruiser does double back and try to get some shots on us as well, but we're dodging for the most part, and we're going to be able to get away no problem. Now, Heinrich takes one more shot here, but at this range, it's pretty easy to dodge incoming shots. Unless, of course, you get one heat seeker round that decides it's going to go straight in and murder your steering gears. Now, I've done my part. My team has moved up. They're in a crossfire position for the Charlie Cap. They're also pushing that flank. Muse is pushing that left flank against the cruiser destroyer. The Heinrich is on the run and in very low health because of our attack. So we have put ourselves in a pretty good position. Now, what I want to do next is relocate, spot these guys for my team who are already in the crossfire, and put myself in a good position to counter what they're doing, right? We have a lot of torps, but they don't reload very quickly. We have very good guns, and we do have a smoke screen available. So if we get a chance to use it, we're definitely going to do that. But our job at this point is to interrupt what the enemy is doing. They currently have cap control. So I need to try to get rid of them as quickly as humanly possible. Now, this Warspite makes a huge mistake here by deciding it wants to turn away from our team, which leads him no choice but to where my torpedoes are going to go. This is a absolutely perfect scenario for a destroyer. You're in a beautiful spot. You're already ready to launch the torpedoes. The battleship commits to the turn, and they have nowhere to go. There is no way he can dodge these torpedoes. We are going to put him in there. Now, I say no way. He could have absolutely dodged these torpedoes by turning towards me. But he doesn't do that. He decides to stay in the cap. He's actually going to nose into the island, which is exactly what I thought we were going to get, as he's trying to angle against my teammates who are slapping him pretty good. But he's got quite a bit of health on him, and we've got quite a few torpedoes heading exactly for that location, anticipating the fact that the guy was going to try to angle away from our team. And wait for it. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Down he goes. I guess it was 5 torps, but still. Dev Strike taking us up to 64,000 damage done. Now, we've got a Yuga here. We have cleared the base for the moment, but there is another destroyer in the neighborhood. There's also a battleship in the cap, or close to the cap. So our next goal here, move into the cap, deny them points, and also start setting up our next strike on the battleships that are here. You can see one of their destroyers is running away from this spawn, so we don't have to worry about him. So we have free reign to do whatever we want with these battleships. And the concealment that I run on destroyers, there are other things that you can run, But concealment is such an advantage. Like, it is a stupid advantage. There's a lot of times I get anywhere from 1 kilometer to half a kilometer of early warning detection. Okay? There's a reason we have Ewoks and stuff that fly around and spot things from above. It's early warning, right? That's what concealment does, especially in a destroyer, because a lot of destroyer players, they try to min-max their DPM, they try to do this, they try to do that. At the end of the day, I get to dictate who I engage, when I engage, and I almost always end up winning that fight. Reason being is because dictating the engagement is such a huge advantage. Okay, if I don't like the engagement, I simply don't engage. If I think that I'm going to have trouble with getting into position, then I relocate. I don't have to worry about getting spotted. The enemy will almost always get spotted before I do. Now here we use our final smoke, and we're trying to lead the Colorado, get some fires, hopefully. My RNG for getting fires is legendarily bad. You guys know this. I don't get fires. This is why I don't play HE spamming cruisers and stuff, just because I don't get the fires that everybody else gets. But we finally get a fire on the Colorado, and then we go ahead and take a shot at the Yuga, and then we load up the AP because I was going to get some good broadside shots into him. He decides that he wants to turn away, unfortunately, so we go back to the AG. We also landed a couple of torpedoes on that Colorado, but unfortunately, he does have a damage con, and he ends up putting out the damage, or putting out the flooding and fire. But as Yuga turns away, we know we've already softened up that Colorado, but there's another battleship heading this way. And this is where I make some of my mistakes in this match. I've done a pretty good job for this entire match, but you can see my RPF, or my Perceptive, pointed in the other direction momentarily. That tells me that there's another destroyer very close by. We also see the torpedoes heading in the direction of our battleship that's going into Charlie. Now, as much as I want to capture this base, it's contested. There's a battleship in here, right? So we're going to double back. We're going to engage the Benson, and look, we're in the same ship, but I have a half a kilometer almost of early warning to allow me to get that shot off. We were very close in health, but by the time he even gets a chance to start shooting at me, he's already dead, and he took very little off of me. That's the difference between being able to dictate an engagement or not. And my battleship thanks me because I just saved him. Now, unfortunately, this is where the Rook comes in, and the Rook is actually going to focus me hard. And I was not expecting this, because this Rook makes some stupid plays just to come after me, which I should expect, but at the same time, I wasn't expecting. Now, Monahan gets spotted here, so we're obviously going to try to take some shots of that. I'm thinking, well, surely the Rook took one shot at me. He's going to have to deal with the team because he's getting his butt kicked. We get a few shots in there, and then I look over my shoulder just to check, and the Rook is already aiming and ready to fire at me. So I go ahead and try to shoot a couple of shots into his superstructure, but I couldn't dodge in time. He actually takes me down. Good play by him, but at the same time, it doesn't matter because he gave up all of his hit points by going broadside to my team in order to go after me. So again, playing to win. I don't always end up having the craziest damage games, but when I play a destroyer, I am almost certainly going to end up top of the leaderboard because I do everything I need to do to give the team the best chance at winning possible. Doesn't always work out, but we try to give the team the best chance. How do we do that? We hunt down and get rid of other destroyers, or at least hunt down and spot them so that my team can help get rid of the other destroyers. Then I try to go for the caps, because cap control is a huge advantage in a game. It allows you and your team to dictate where the engagements happen. Okay, this is, again, I'm talking about it, dictating engagements. If you have cap control, the enemy has no choice but to come to your team. Your team can just sit there, get in a defensible position, and the enemy will have to feed themselves to you. And it's very hard to dig out a team that's dug in, ready to go, right? It's very hard to undo that. But fortunately, our team is in great positions. This is a very close match, too, and this is kind of the way that every match went that night. We had a lot of close games with the count-ins going on, and running in a division was I'm always worried that when I run in divisions, like, people are going to get annoyed with me because I know I have a tendency to talk a lot, like, especially on streams. I tend to talk a lot, and I end up doing my normal, like, streaming where everybody hears me complain about things and stuff like that, and I just feel like when I div up with people, like, I don't think most people would enjoy that, you know? it's one thing to be on a team with a competent set of players. It's another thing when you got to sit there and listen to me the entire time in your ear. You know what I'm saying? And I do try to minimize it a little bit when I'm on somebody's stream, but at the same time, I know when I'm there that their stream is expecting a certain level of Spartan, right? Like, everybody expects a certain level of Spartan. So it's one of those things. It's just weird for me. That's why I don't div off often, because it just doesn't feel good for me. You know what I mean? But I do love you know, joining up with other people and having competent teammates more regularly. It is nice, but at the end of the day, it's a win, right? Our team holds on. We've got the lead. They're forcing themselves into the fight, and just as the clock runs out, we almost took out their destroyer. But it was a fun night. So again, I will leave a link to their channel. But 92,000 damage, top of the leaderboard, 2,500, with Dark coming in with 2,300, and Muse was in the Atlanta. I forgot about that, and she survives to the end while being super aggressive in the Atlanta, which tells you everything you need to know about that enemy team, as they were so off guard by having to constantly run away, by whether it be Dark in the hood putting down some good fire, our teammates putting down good fire, or the fact that I'm behind them causing all sorts of chaos so they can't get comfortable and return fire. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you guys want to see more like collabs and stuff, let me know. I tend to avoid a lot of stuff unless, you know, people ask me, but just let me know if it's something you guys are interested in seeing more of. And if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.